The FDA is warning the public not to eat potentially radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart. In a press release today, the FDA said cesium-137, a radioactive isotope, was detected in shipping containers and frozen shrimp. Now, no shrimp that tested positive for this radioactive material has entered the U.S. food supply to our knowledge. The FDA is still recommending a recall on all products from this shrimp distributor. They advise customers to throw away certain Great Value brand frozen shrimp products.
What's up out there, YouTube? I hope you guys are doing well out there on this beautiful evening. I'm doing pretty good myself. Shout out to my wife, Joan, for hipping me to this particular story right here. And we have a public service announcement. As you guys already seen, the FDA warns public not to eat possibly radioactive shrimp sold at Walmart. Okay, Walmart meats has been questionable for a while now. I've always heard stuff about, their meat, even the beef, the steaks and what have you, pus and stuff like that found in them and stuff like that. You guys might be able to actually look up some of those videos on YouTube even, but yeah, this is the shrimp now. Now, myself, I don't eat what is called sea roaches because they are unclean to you. And if some of you are eating them, you may want to give them up because the Most High is doubling down on this stuff right here, you know what I mean? And now there's a good possibility that radioactivity could be laced in the shrimp. Now let's get more in depth into this particular article right here. The Food and Drug Administration is warning the public not to eat, sell, or serve certain great value raw frozen shrimp sold at Walmart due to possible contaminations with cesium-137. A radioactive isotope, okay? Whatever the hell that really is, you know what I mean? Let's continue. U.S. Customs and Border Protection alert the FDA about possible cesium-137 or CS-137 detected in shipping containers at 4 U.S. ports. The FDA said Tuesday in a press release, testing on frozen shrimp from distributor Indonesia, BMS Foods, also tested positive, the FDA said. However, no shrimp that has tested positive for cesium-137 has entered the U.S. food supply, according to the FDA. The FDA is still recommending a recall on all products from BMS Foods that were shipped after the company's shipping containers tested positive for cesium-137. Even though the products themselves have not tested positive. I don't know how y'all can know that though. Yeah, you saying you testing this stuff, but it's a good possibility that you can probably still get, this cesium-137 poison from this shrimp. I'm scared of that. Every time you look around now, there's always food recalls, berries, fruits and stuff contaminated with listeria, whatever that mess is, you know what I mean, and all kinds of stuff now. And it's just about almost once or twice a week now you getting this kind of announcements about warning about food. These people, E. coli and all that kind of stuff. Quality is just going out the window, okay? And that's and public health, all this kind of stuff going out the window now. But you can rest assured they still want you to pay that money, okay? Now to continue here, the following Great Value brand frozen shrimp products should not be eaten, sold, or served. Great Value brand frozen raw shrimp, lot code 85540. One best date. Well, we have one best by date, and that's 3/15/2027. Great Value brand frozen shrimp, lot code 85538-1. Best by date 3/15/2027. So all of these are like, the same thing. These shrimp right here in the third one. Great Value brand shrimp, raw shrimp that is, lot code 85539-1. Best by date 13/15/2027. So that's a year, basically. A little less than a year from now. But yeah, this is not good, people. Like I said, we're not to eat shrimp anyway. We were told as the Most High's children, we ain't supposed to eat like shrimp and stuff like that. Anything does not have, fins and scales on it out of the sea. We're not to eat. We ain't even supposed to eat catfish. Now it's got the fins, but it don't have scales in it. All that stuff is unclean right there, and shrimp is too. But people still eat it, you know what I mean? But hey, it's like everything else. You play at your own risk, okay? Now in conclusion here, it says, if you have recently purchased raw frozen shrimp from Walmart that matches this description, throw it away. The FDA said in its press release. The FDA said it is working with distributors and retailers that receive the shrimp from BMS Foods to recommend that firms conduct a recall. According to the press release, FDA said it determined the shrimp from BMS Foods violates the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, and that it appears to have been prepared, packed, or held under insanitary conditions whereby it may have become contaminated with CS-137 and may pose a safety concern, And that's another thing I don't like. Oh, there's a little bit more here. Let's finish this. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it before we finish this. We don't know where our food is being prepared at. And some of these people don't believe in, cleanliness. I'm going to just leave it like that. Let's continue. Now we hear in the last part of the article, all products from the company are now banned from coming into the U.S. until the firm has resolved the conditions that gave rise to the appearance of the violation. The FDA said, Celsium is a soft, flexible, silvery white metal that becomes liquid near room temperature, but easily bonds with chlorides to create a crystalline powder, according to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. External exposure to large amounts of Celsium-137, according to the EPA, can cause burns, acute radiation sickness, and even death. Okay? So again, buyers beware. And if you find yourself with this in your refrigerator, in your freezer, throw it out. It ain't worth, risking the chance that you can be, poisoned by this stuff right here. So there it is, people. Y'all be careful, be aware. And if, like I said before, if you eating this stuff right here, this is a good reason to stop. I used to eat shrimp back in the day before I found out I'm not supposed to eat it. So I quit. And I hated that because I used to like to have some shrimp with a steak, some fries, and stuff like that. Loved it. But when I found out we ain't supposed to eat it, I made a change real fast. That's what I did. But hey, to each his own. That's all I got on this particular video right here. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this situation. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And people, please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. And also, if you feel like a little bit being generous, hit the Cash App sometime in the description box. Yeah. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.